Okay, welcome back everyone. Welcome to a new trading week. This is Jeff here with FXMindshift, and welcome to your Sunday weekly review. So looking at the calendar this week, looks pretty interesting. Monday, we don't have any red folders, so the week might start off a little slow, but the rest of the week seems pretty interesting. So we are rounding out the month of April, okay, so coming to a close here and then going into the month of May, which means that Friday we have NFP, right? First Friday of the new month. The rest of the week, though, we also have some red folders. Like Tuesday, we have JOLTS job openings. Wednesday, we've got some USD news here and one for Euro. Thursday, we've got some bank holidays in there for Euro, so it might be a slow day on Thursday for Euro pairs. But then USD, we've got in the New York session unemployment claims and ISM manufacturing PMI, right? And then, of course, throughout the week, and that'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So let's go into the charts. Let's start with our DXY monthly top-down analysis here. Okay, so going into the DXY chart on the monthly, as you can see, we've had a very bearish month, right? So we're going to close the month bearish, most likely. We've already taken out this big swing structure down here below this big consolidation, okay? And we've tapped into this monthly imbalance here, and that's where we're currently seeing this nice little reaction or rejection back to the upside here, okay? So potentially we could see a little bit more rejection, a little bit more of a retracement higher, maybe trading back into this swing low or back into this swing low here, and then continuing down afterwards there. But you can see we have a lot more room, a lot more potential, you know, to the downside here if we were to continue down with this big bearish momentum that we have here from the monthly. All right, so let's take a look at the weekly chart here. And let's see if that kind of corroborates what we're looking at. So obviously we have a weekly imbalance formed right above here. This week closed with this nice big weekly pin bar, right? So you can see we tapped into the order block down here below. And then we have a reaction which gave us this nice weekly pin bar here. So looks like we are going to get a little bit further retracement. I'd like to see price come back up into the imbalance here, retracing the imbalance, and then push off from there and continue lower. That's what I would like to see. So we'll see how far of a retracement, or if we do get a retracement back into this imbalance if possible. But, you know, what I'm looking for really is kind of a move back into this and then a move down like that because of all this down here, right? So this is all potentially fair game if we do get this continuation move down from DXY. So let's take a look at the daily. And I think we'll see more of the same here on the daily, right? So right now with the daily, we are currently kind of wedged in between 2 points of interest. This daily order block from all the way over to the left there that we are currently bouncing up from. And then price also respecting the order block right here, which you can see here is the cause of this current consolidation here. Now, it's not a very strong reaction, of course, right? And this is a much stronger reaction off of the bullish order block here. So, you know, big engulfing candle and then small consolidation. It looks more likely that we'll see price move up. So I'd like to see price come back, like I said, into this weekly imbalance area here, which on the daily you can see is right inside of this. So if you put the weekly markups back up, you can see it's right here, right? So that's what I want to see still. I would like to see this continuation, kind of this consolidation here, go up and through, hit this level, and then continue down like so, right? If we can. So possibly trading back into this imbalanced area up here above, and that would mean taking out the order block high, the swing high up here. And so that would be like a sweep of liquidity above the high there, trade into the imbalance, and then the continuation down. All right, that's what I would like to see. Let's go to the 4 hour and let's see what needs to happen for that to transpire. So on the 4 hour, here's that daily order block here, now refined to the 4 hour that we are currently respecting, right? You can see the slow consolidation here. And so now, you know, just basically wanting to see price hold the low, right? As we come down here, hold the low and just kind of, you know, push up through into this region up here and then continue down, right? So sweeping out this high and then continuing lower after that, following this consolidation. So we'll see initial move up first and then some kind of reaction up here for then, you know, a move down afterwards. Okay, so that's what I'd like to see on the dollar. Let's go over to euro dollar next. All right, so monthly EU, again, just like the dollar, but opposite, right? We have a very strong bullish candle, very likely going to close bullish for the month. As you can see, we've already taken out structure, just like on the dollar, but highs. Okay, so the consolidation structure here, the swing high above here, and also even taking out the swing high above here, which is where we're getting this big reaction from right now, right? So we swept the highs there, getting reaction back inside the range, right? And, you know, like I said, I would still consider price very bullish right now, and wanting to see price go higher, right? So taking out all of the structures over here eventually, right? But right now we're in a little bit of retracement, so we want to see how far into the range we're going to retrace before we go up again, right? So let's go to the weekly chart. All right, now on the weekly, we can see that we've hit some key levels over here. We swept liquidity above over here to the left. There's a swing structure over there that we took out, and trading into the daily, or sorry, the weekly order block there, and that's where we're currently getting this big reaction from. So we closed the week with a big bearish pin, right? So that tends, you know, for me to believe that we will get a continuation lower next week. And where can we go lower to? Right here into this weekly imbalance here, right? So nice pin rejection and then a continuation down here. And then this is where I'd like to see a bullish reaction for then price to continue going higher again, right? So overall, we are still very bullish, right? But right now, after the close of that last week there, a very bearish close here. So expecting price to retrace this week into, you know, a discount POI for then the continuation higher again. Okay, so into this weekly imbalance here. Let's see what the daily looks like in that regard. Okay, so right here, I think the weekly is just a little bit above that right there. Okay, so this little one right here possibly as well. But anywhere in this region here, sweeping this level out and then trading into this imbalance would be fantastic. So we get a sweep of liquidity below this low. That would be ideal. And then we get a tap into the imbalance and then a move up and through those highs next, right? So that is potentially what we could see there if it holds. I mean, it very well could also just hold the order block here, right, as it is holding at the moment, and we could see price just pop up from there without tapping into the imbalance, but that would be less ideal. Okay, so I'd like to see a sweep first, tap in the balance, and then the move higher. That would give me a lot more confidence in the continued move higher, right, rather than just a short-term move higher. So let's go to the 4-hour here. Okay, and just kind of more the same here, except flipped, reversed on the dollar. So you can see the 4-hour order block here that we are tapping into, and the consolidation that is formed as the result of that. So now just wanting to see this consolidation here hold, right? And then we get a move up, or sorry, a move down through into the imbalance below, right? Sweeping this level of liquidity and then going up and through eventually higher, right? So looking for potentially a target of this low, sweeping out this low, and then the daily and weekly imbalances below are here and here, right? So this area potentially here, just so basically a sweep of the liquidity will do it, tapping into the weekly or daily imbalance and then seeing the price move up afterwards. All right, so that is Euro. Let's take a look at GU. All right, so GU, as you can see, we have a little bit of a divergence happening here with GU, as, you know, Euro took out this high pretty easily, as in fact, and also, you know, highs over here. But you can see that GU failed to take out the high there. So with a little divergence there, it means that GU is showing a little bit more weakness, right? And since that, you know, we had a sweep above the highs here on Euro, it's potentially, you know, a move down that we're going to see here, right? So same thing with GU here. We might come back for this high a little bit later, or it might come, you know, it might take out the high right at the start of the week and then come down. That could be a possibility as well. But, you know, as it is right now, we're showing a little bit more weakness here in GU. So I would like to see, you know, if we sweep the high there and come down lower, or if we just continue lower from here. Either of those scenarios would be fine. The scenario I don't think will happen is that, you know, GU will keep going higher from here. I think we will see a retracement first before we go higher. So that's what we want to see, what, you know, what will happen this week. So let's go to the weekly chart here. All right, so you can see here the wick that we left, we're trading into the order block here and the reaction. So we also left the pin bar right last week, and you know, it is a bullish candle here, but the pin itself here, you can see that we went all the way up here and we came all the way back and closed back below. So this imbalance just below here is where I would like to see the retracement to, just like in Euro, right? A retracement back into this weekly imbalance here, possibly even mitigating this swing higher the last wick over here, and then seeing a pop up from there to go higher and take out the highs. All of this, you know, here's equal highs here, nice liquidity that's being, you know, is kind of engineered as we go and retrace lower. So the more we retrace here, the more liquidity is going to start building up above these equal highs here that price will want to come back for on the return. So if we go to the daily chart and we look at the daily markups here, so there is the respect of the order block and the swing high over there. Price came down. Right, so you can see here we did break below this daily candle, this big bullish candle here, and then now the retracement back into the order block here, and now seeing if we will get that move lower, the continuation lower. Okay, so let's go to the 4-hour here. Right, so you know, want to see if we can get down below the structure down here, that daily imbalance, or the weekly imbalance, I'm sorry, right down below here. Okay, so if we can get, you know, kind of sweep below any of these lows here or below here, would be fine. This would be the minimum, right? So seeing price come down, sweep this low here, and then trade through that level. If we go higher first, right, there's an order block right here that we could trade into first and then come down and then go higher, right? Any of those situations would be ideal to see. Right, the ideal situation would be to sweep liquidity below, hit the imbalance, and then go higher, rather than seeing just, you know, price go higher from here without the sweep. As I said, it'll be a much more longer term move higher, right, and it'll give us a continued kind of order flow confirmation for GU, rather than a short term move higher and then coming back for more liquidity later for then, you know, another move higher. So that's what I'd like to see for GU. Right, let's go on to gold next. Okay, now gold is in kind of a tricky spot right now at the moment. We are at all-time highs, or basically rejecting from all-time highs. You can see that gold made it right up to 3,500. If you look at my my high level up here, I move my cursor over the candle, you can see that we made it just exactly to 3,500.1, right? And then from there, we rejected and we started to make the move down. So these, you know, types of conditions are always very tricky to trade, because obviously the momentum and everything is bullish. Everything is, you know, still very strong to the upside, and we're expecting price to continue to go higher until we get confirmations otherwise. But we are at all-time highs and price is rejecting. So at this point in time, you know, we're probably going to be looking more so at consolidation ranges. If we go to the weekly, we can see that we have a very large kind of pin bar, weekly pin bar. And so that, you know, is indicative of the rejection that we got from 3,500. And so now we want to see, you know, if we get a continuation from this weekly rejection. So how far can we go down? There's a little tiny weekly imbalance right down here. So that can be marked right there. And that is where we could potentially see price reject from to go higher first, right? Now, if we get below that, then obviously we can look at the order block here, and we can look at other points of interest. But this right here really is the first area I'd like to see if we continue to hold bullish and continue higher from. Okay, if we can do that, you know, then we'll keep going higher. But if we do break below this imbalance here, then potentially we could see a chain reaction where structure starts to break down, and then we get a bigger retracement, right? Maybe not that big because this is the weekly chart. But let's go to the daily here, right? And let's take a look. So on the daily, we have a daily imbalance that we are currently holding, okay? And so this is potentially also where we could see a bounce from. So not necessarily trading down to this weekly imbalance here, but right here, we could potentially just hold from here to go higher, right? So if we look at, you know, inside this imbalance here, we've seen already 1 touch, 2 touches, right, in reaction, and we're starting or attempting to go higher but haven't been able to, right? So we'll see if the week opens where we hold or continue to hold this imbalance and continue to go higher. But if we lose this imbalance here and we go lower, right, we've got the weekly imbalance just below it right here, and this structure right here that we could bounce from to go higher from, right? So those are the 2 areas that we could see price continue bullish. If we break below both of these, then I think it's a lot more likely that we'll come down for this low over here, and then we'll look to seek a run down to, you know, below 3,000 again, right? And we'll take out all of these structures down here, and then this will be more likely the target for us if we lose all of these bullish points of interest up here, right? So that should be interesting to see. And let's go to the 4-hour here. Okay, and so right now, like I said, as it is, we could see price holding, and then you can see the kind of back and forth that we've had so far. Price came up, took out this high here to create the all-time high. We came back on a big retracement, swept out this low, respected the imbalance below here, right? And now we're inside of this kind of consolidation range. Okay, this is the point where we really need to kind of be patient and wait for price to break in a certain direction. So if it does hold here, we will see price go back above this high, okay, that we just swept out over here to create this bearish imbalance in this move down. Okay, so if we do get back above this high, then I think that we will continue higher and keep going higher. But if we hold here in this consolidation and we break down, okay, like I said, that weekly imbalance below is right here. Okay, this will be another area I think that we could bounce from and go higher. But if we lose both of this, the daily, where's the daily here? The daily is right here. It's the same one as the 4-hour, basically. Okay, but if we lose both of these imbalances here and here, okay, then it's likely we're going to come down for this low over here. All right, so we'll kind of see how this plays out this week. It's a little bit trickier, I'd say. Trading gold, once we're in, all-time high regions and we start to consolidate, that's what makes it tricky. All right, so we'll see how gold holds up here this week. Let's go over to the futures side here and the NASDAQ. Okay, so NASDAQ on the monthly right now, you can see we have a very bullish reaction from after taking out this low. Okay, so this month is going to close with a ginormous pin bar here, basically. Okay, we have a monthly imbalance just above the pin bar here that we could be trading or targeting a trade back into. So back above this month's high, which currently is above 20,000, right? So we get above the 20,000 mark. So 20,044.25. Trading back into the monthly imbalance and then seeing if we will get a reaction back lower after that. But judging off of the momentum right now that we're seeing on the monthly, price is very much bullish. Okay, if we go over to the weekly chart here and we take a look at the weekly chart, the reaction here after taking out this swing low, we've seen some very large kind of bullish engulfing candles, right? We did attempt to go lower here after trading into this swing low. But you can see last week we were very bullish. We basically closed back above, engulfed this candle here. And really the only thing that I can see stopping us from going higher would be this weekly order block over here. But I really doubt that that's going to do much. I mean, it seems like it carrying a lot of momentum from last week going into this week. So I will be targeting or looking to target this high right here. If we see, price kind of trading through or very close to trading through this weekly order block, right? If you can see the bodies of the candles here of the OB, once we get above this point here, and obviously that's, a big move in itself, getting above there, that point. But if we get above here and we get a closure above here, then, this right here is pretty much a very high probability of running. So I'd like to see, for instance, if this continues up through this level, so I'm just kind of see a run above here, and we really need to see a closure above here. So, reacting to this order block here, we could see a wick, we could see a run above and then a close back below, right? Those are all signs that the order block is still holding. But if we see a run through this order block here and then we see it close above this level, then the distance between here and here is pretty much all potentially a nice area for us to look for buy opportunities to run out that high. Okay, And you can see that that's, you know, a good chunk of space. So if we take the, oh, sorry, there we go. Right, that's about 600 points, right, of room that we can work with even after the candle gets above this area. So I'm telling you guys to kind of like wait for this to confirm, because between where we are right now and the top of this OB here, we still have 400 points of space of movement that we could potentially still trade up into, and then, like I said, reject and then continue lower. Okay, so you know, a surefire, you know, not a surefire, but a higher chance of success of seeing price run this high is once we get above this order block level here and above this this little line right here. Okay, this level here is funny enough the 20K mark, right? 20,000. So if we get above and hold above the 20,000 mark, then this high will probably go, and then we'll see price maybe even reach up for this weekly imbalance area up here. Okay, and then we'll see, you know, continued bullishness. All right, let's drop down to the daily. Okay, so now on the daily, we can see that we have, you know, these levels over here. Currently the level that I'm going to be paying attention to, as I said, is the wick of this candle right here. Okay, and we could still potentially reject from that wick and go lower. This is the 20,000 mark right here. Okay, so if we get above that wick, it's going to be above 20,000, and then from there we can look for price to continue higher to run out, you know, this high over here, imbalances over here, right? I'll take out this structure over here, like I said. Okay, so potentially watching this area right here for rejection lower. If this fails and we get above 20K, then from 20K up to this high here is going to be an opportunity that we can look for to buy up. All right, and that's the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour, as we open up into the week here, we want to see if price is going to hold this structural high, right? Trading into a 4 hour OB right now. If we get a rejection from there, that, you know, maybe potentially closes back below this swing low structure here, right? Then we could see a potential reversal at that point to go lower, right? But if we hold and we continue to trade through the order block and the high, then like I said, then this is likely going to be the scenario. Okay, and that will be interesting to watch next week. And of course, NFP, right, as the kicker at the end of the week. So we'll see if NFP has anything to say about that. Let's go over to ES. All right, and this is really more the same here, but on the monthly, you can see here, big pin bar, right, from trading into this monthly imbalance and negation over here. We're going to end the month with a big pin bar here, right, which means that at one point we were all the way down here and we've come all the way back up here, right? So it's very, very bullish at the moment. Okay, we're going to target maybe the monthly high and then the imbalance level up here coming into that area, right? On the weekly, okay, what we can see is also the same thing. We've engulfed the previous week's candle here, ended and closed the week very bullish. Okay, we are trading into a weekly imbalance area. We could potentially react and go lower from. Again, the order block here also potentially something that could stop us from going higher if we do trade into that and reject lower. So two things in our way right now on ES. So ES showing a little bit more weakness than NQ at the moment. If we go to the daily chart, okay, we can see that we are trading right back into this little gap opening and, you know, slight rejection, but not really that strong rejection. We can see that we did close on Friday with still a bullish candle into that level, right? So we've got some things to contend with up here. We've got the order block, we've got the wick, right, and the high. You know, same thing as I said with NQ. If we can get back above this level, okay, this high, then it's going to be more likely that we see price go higher and continue to run highs. So this high over here, these highs over here, and then of course this whole big structure right above here as well, right? So a run above there and a closure, then we'll use this as structure to continue higher from, right? But anywhere in here, there's a bigger space here for ES than there is for NQ, potentially where we could see a rejection and a move lower. Okay, so we'll have to watch this area in the start of the week going forward. Let's go to the 4-hour here. Okay, and 4-hour also the same. So this is the order block we're going to trade through. Also, this is the balance we're going to trade through. We did get a nice clean run above the highs over here, right? And we do have a closure above. So at the moment, like I said, momentum is still very bullish. Just looking to see what will happen when we trade into these areas here. And if we, in fact, do get rejection lower, or if we get a rejection lower and then a continuation higher, right? Or just a continuation higher. But getting back above here is certainly going to be very bullish for me. And then from that point on, I'll be looking for price to continue higher up into the range. All right, so that is going to do it for this weekly analysis. I hope you guys found that helpful. And of course, as with every week, I hope that you guys can use this information to find some amazing trades for yourself next week and throughout the week. Now, if you guys are interested in joining the VIP and following with me every single day as I trade live with my students, you can do that with the first link in the description below. Trade live with us every day. You get my thought process behind the trades that I take every day that I do my analysis. You guys get the complete setups that I'm looking for or what I'm looking for every single day. So these are actually weekly analysis that I do for you here on the channel, but in my VIP group, I do daily analysis for my students, and then we trade them live every day in the New York session. So if you're interested in that, take a look at the link in the first description, the description below. There will be a free 7-day trial for you guys to take a look if you guys are interested and see if you like it, right? Obviously, if you will enjoy what you see there, you will stay and continue. But if not, no harm, no foul. You can cancel and you get some free value in the meantime, right? So take a look in the description below for that. And that's going to do it, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. And
feel me.